Yes, now Gooners, today is a good day to be a Gooner as we had just defeated Crystal Palace 1-0 at Selhurst Park. However, today was not one of those brilliant wins that we always like to hope for, and it wasn't one of those blown out the water type of wins. It was a 1-0 victory, which is actually what I predicted in our prediction earlier in the week. But I think it was a 1-0 because there's some shenanigans going around by the FA PGMOL. Let's start with the niceties. Love to see the innovation from Martinelli and Nketiah to win that penalty. And I love the innovation that we saw from Martin Odegaard and Bukayo Saka. Saka grabbed the ball. There's a little bit of words being exchanged between Crystal Palace's keeper Johnston and Saka, and I think Johnston was really prepared to take the penalty from Saka, and Saka gave it to Martin Odegaard, in which Odegaard then sliced it perfectly. Bottom left, keeper's right. And it was a sublime penalty, very coolly taken. And, again, I'm glad Odegaard... Again, I predicted Odegaard to be the goal scorer as well. So I'm pretty spot on today. I should have played the lottery. So it was a big win for us. We looked pretty solid before, some of the shenanigans that happened from the PGMOL. We saw the great link-ups between our midfielders. We saw a lot of the nice clean switches that we saw, mainly from Partey and Rice to Martinelli and Saka, respectively. How good is Declan Rice? Declan Rice bossed that midfield today. Even Aaron Ramsdale got himself a couple great saves, got himself a clean sheet, which is always good to have and build his confidence, especially with Raya watching on from the bench. I think that was a really good game from Aaron Ramsdale as well. So now let's get into what made this game difficult, what made this game, have some shenanigans, as one would say. So obviously we have the red card for Tomiyasu. 10 men. It's always going to be a hard fight, especially when the red card comes in the 70th minute. It was a hard-fought battle. However, it was so preventable. I think that was probably the softest second yellow I have seen in my entire career, and I've watched a lot of soccer over my lifetime. That was really, really, really soft, and props to Jordan Ayew for throwing himself on the ground. He took acting lessons from Leonardo DiCaprio. That was just disgusting and disgraceful how that referee, I think it's David Coots or whatever. I don't even want to know his name, to give that second yellow. And then on the flip side, to then turn around and have three more challenges that were worse than Tomiyasu's go uncarded. I'm thinking off the top of my head, Jefferson Lerma and Decore, to name a few, who were not booked for pretty much doing the same thing as Tomiyasu was booked for the second yellow. But let's talk about the first yellow. The first yellow shouldn't have been the first yellow either. Yes, it was time wasting. Yes, Kai Havertz took a lot of time off that throw-in. However, I believe that card should have went to Kai Havertz insteed of Tomiyasu. Tomiyasu held the ball for 8 seconds. 8 seconds. When we see other players hold the balls for much longer and not get a card at all. So, again, it's just something that PGMOL, again, is failing to recognize. We see that they had a huge meeting with all referees in the beginning of the season that this is what they need to crack down on. But then the other stuff that probably absolutely needs to be cracked down on is not happening, and then we have shenanigans like this happening. I think if this would have cost us the 3 points or cost us, if it would have cost us the loss, like 0 points at all, I think it would have been a little bit more angry at that. But the thing that I also want to bring up is if that penalty was not given against Thomas Partey, which in my opinion, it was not a penalty. People are going to say, oh, that was the ref getting one back. No, that wasn't a penalty. If you watch closely, Eze's throwing himself on the ground before Thomas Partey's leg is even in the proximity of him. He knew what he was doing. Should have been simulation. But if it wasn't a penalty, why was there no yellow card given for simulation? We could have had Decore as a red card, and we could have had Jordan Ayew as a red card. Seeing how if the ref the game, how he reffed the game for Arsenal for Crystal Palace. If he would have reffed the game like he did for Crystal Palace against Arsenal, I think we would have seen at least 2 or 3 red cards from Crystal Palace themselves, because they're not innocent at all in any of the fact. It's disgusting behavior, and I think the PGMOL definitely needs to nip this in the bud yet again after all the despicable calls that just did not just come Arsenal's way. It came Man United's way, which they deserve, honestly, but it also came Liverpool's way with the disgusting red card of McAllister that should not have even been a red card in the first place. I just think that there's a lot of focus on things that aren't really important, like Mikel Arteta's behavior on the sideline, rather than the important things, which are these missed calls that are so constantly happening. VAR is a joke. I think VAR just needs to get rid. We're not using it for what it's being used for. It's a new rule every week. Just get rid of it. I liked VAR in the beginning. Again, now it's just a waste of time. It's pointless. I don't understand it. But overall, a great showing for the lads, and we go again next week.